Hello dear students, I hope you are good. I hope you are safe. Stay home, stay safe. As far as your studies are concerned, we are doing chapter number 9 ray optics of class 12th. In the last video lecture we discussed about refraction through a rectangular glass slab. We have seen that refraction through a rectangular glass slab, there is a phenomena which is called lateral shift, which is perpendicular distance between incident ray and the emergent ray. We have also seen that the lateral shift cannot exceed the thickness of the glass slab. Today we are going to do two more topics related to refraction through a plane surface. One is apparent depth and the another one is TIR, that is a total internal reflection. Okay, so let us do the first one. The first one is apparent depth. Okay, let us start. Apparent depth. What is apparent depth? Let us try to understand. What happens when the observer and the object, like suppose if I am trying to look something, so if I am in a different medium and the object which I am looking at, it is a different medium, then the distance between us, it is not the distance, real distance, what I am seeing, what it appears to me, it will be something else. Okay, so that something else is called apparent distance or apparent depth. In our day-to-day life, we experience this thing when something is dipped in water. Okay, when something is dipped in water, we experience there. Okay, so let us see, like suppose one tank is there. Okay, and in tank, up to this height, say one liquid is filled. Okay, say up to the side. Is it clear? Now at the bottom, what is there? At the bottom one object is there, say O. And what we are trying to do, we are trying to observe this O from the outside of the liquid. Okay, from here. So if I am looking at something, the ray from that something should reach to my eye. The ray from the object should reach to eye of the observer. So one ray is perpendicular. Okay, one ray is perpendicular, straight way. Okay, a straight line, and it goes to the observer in a straight line. Let me make it a straight. So it goes in a straight line like this. Since it strikes at 90 degrees, therefore there is no refraction. Another ray of light strikes at this point. Say this is your normal. Okay, this is your normal. So now the ray of light is going from denser medium to rare medium. Say this is your denser medium and this is your rare medium. Let this refractive index be 1. Here the refractive index is 2. So ray of light is obviously it will pass away from the normal, and if it is away from the normal, ray of light should go like this. So if I extend this refracted ray behind, what I find that it cut this refracted ray somewhere here. So what I am looking at, if this ray and this ray are reaching to my eye, I will not be looking at O. The O will appear somewhere here. So what I am looking at, the depth which appears to me will be AI, and it is called apparent depth. Apparent depth. Is it clear? The depth which appears to me will be AI. The real depth is AO. AO is real depth. AO is real depth. And AI is apparent depth. What I need to find out? I need to find out this apparent depth. Okay. Let us try to find out. For this angle, for this ray, this will be your angle of incidence and this will be your angle of refraction. If this is I, then this is going to be I. Very simple geometry. It is alternate interior angle. If this is R, this whole angle is going to be R, and that is why this angle is going to be R. This R, this whole angle becomes R, and this angle becomes R because of alternate interior angles. Now let this side be as B. So if I say in triangle ABO, ABO, if I want to calculate what is the value of sin I, so sin I is equal to what? Perpendicular upon hypotenuse. Perpendicular will be AB, hypotenuse will be BO, so it will be AB upon BO. Okay, and in triangle I am going to take different triangle ABI, triangle AB and I, sin R is going to be what? So this is R, so AB upon BI, AB upon BI. Okay, now if I divide these equations, we are going to have sin I by sin R, sin I upon sin R. I am going to have AB and AB will be cancelled out. I am going to have BI upon BO. Let this be equation number 1. I hope till here there is no problem. Now just try to understand, for looking this eye, watching this eye, this ray and this ray should reach to one's eye, and I don't believe that someone's eyes are that big. Okay, in our eye there is pupil. Pupil is a small hole through which the light enters in our eyes. That hole, the diameter of that hole is 1 mm to 1.5 mm. So the maximum distance between these two rays will be 1 mm to 1.5 mm, which is very small in comparison to these depths. So basically what I'm trying to say is that AB is very small. AB is very small. And if AB is very small, what we can say? We can say that ABO is approximately equal to AO and BI is approximately equal to AI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these values over here. So I'm going to have sin I by sin R is equal to AI upon AO. AI is my sin I. What is sin I upon sin R? Sin I by sin R, according to Snell's law, it is refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium. Which is the second medium here? So ray of light is going from mu2 to mu1. So mu1 is the second medium and mu2 is the first medium. So I should write mu1 upon mu2 is equal to AI. What is AI? AI is apparent depth. AI is apparent depth upon AO is what? It is real depth. So from here the apparent depth comes out to be so apparent depth can be written as mu1 multiplied by real depth upon mu2. Okay, so you should learn this formula this way. Okay, you should learn this formula this way, or let me tell you a better way. You should learn the formula like apparent depth is equal to mu1. Mu1 is the refractive index of the medium of observer, where the observer is. This is your mu1. This is your mu1 multiply by this is your real depth. What is the real depth? Means real position upon refractive index of the medium of object what we are looking at. You should learn the formula this way, because sometimes what happens, you have been asked question in reverse manner, like, let me remove this. Some question can be like, there is a water, in the water here is one fish, here is one bird. So fish is looking at bird. So here that fish is observer and bird is object. Okay, so this is just reverse case of this one. Here that object is in denser medium and observer is in rare medium. Here that observer is in denser medium and object is in rare medium. Observer is in denser medium, object is in rare medium. So need to understand every time what is mu1, what is mu2. Instead of learning the formula this way, you should learn this way. Refractive index of the medium of observer multiply by real depth, what is the real position, and one more thing, this real depth is measured from the interface of the surface, from here. Okay, from here. If someone asks what is the relative position with respect to that object, you need to add this thing in that. Okay, you need to add this thing. So please remember, this real depth is with respect to the surface, the free surface of the liquid, the interface. So real depth upon refractive index of the medium of the object. Is it clear? So this is how this apparent depth, the topic at apparent depth is all about. Okay, you need to understand this formula. If you understand this formula, this becomes very easy. Let us do one question so that we can understand. Let us do one question on the basis of this one. The same question I was talking about, let us do that. Suppose it is a water tank. From the surface at a distance of 40 centimeter, there is a fish, and from the surface at a distance 30 meter, let this be 40 meter. Okay, there is a bird. You need to find out what is the relative position, what is the position of fish with respect to bird first, and second, position of bird with respect to fish. Okay, let us solve these questions. Let us solve the first one. If I am saying that position of fish with respect to bird, who is object, fish or bird? Position of fish with respect to bird, so bird is observer and fish is object. What is the formula? Formula is apparent depth is equal to refractive index of the medium of the observer. In the first case, bird is observer, here it is air, here it is water, so it will be refractive index of the medium of observer, it is 1, multiply by real depth. What is the real depth? 40, so it will be 40 upon refractive index of the medium where the object is. Where is the object? Object is fish. The fish is in the refractive index 1.33. Okay, so apparent depth from the surface will be 40 upon 1.33, and since position is being asked, so position will be 40 upon 1.33 will be added with 30 meter. Whatever be the answer, it will be your answer. Okay, in place of 1.33 you can write 4 by 3, so it will be 40 upon 4 by 3 multiply by plus 30. So 4 will cut this 40 10 times, 3 10 30 plus 30, it will become what? 60 meter. So in the first case, the bird, it is appear to bird that fish will be at a height 60 meter from it, 30 meter in air and 30 meter in water. Although it is at 40 meter, but it will appear at 30 meter. This is the case of apparent depth. In the second case, position of bird with respect to fish. Now fish is observer and bird is object. So apparent depth will be refractive index of the medium of observer. Who is observer this time? Fish. So it will be 1.33. Multiply by what is the real depth? Real depth is 30. So 30 upon what is the refractive index of the medium of object? It is 1. So it will be 1. Now 30 can be written as 1.33 can be written as 4 by 3. 30 will be 30 like, so it will be 10. So it will become 40 meter. Apparent depth from the surface, it will be 40. 40 fish is itself. So we are going to have position, relative position will be 40 plus 40. It will be 80 meter. So this will be our answer. Okay. So this is how these questions are solved. Remember, refractive index of the medium of observer multiply by real depth upon refractive index of the medium of object. This is the formula you need to apply. Okay, so this is the case of apparent depth. Now let us move and let us try to understand total internal reflection. Next topic is total internal reflection, short form TIR. Okay, what is TIR? What is total internal reflection? Let us try to understand. Suppose a ray of light is moving from a denser medium to rarer medium. So what happens? If a ray of light strikes at some angle, then obviously from denser medium to rarer medium it is going. So it will bend away from the normal. Okay. So in this case, the angle of refraction will always be greater than angle of incidence. Now suppose if I keep on increasing this angle of incidence, keep on increasing this, then what happens? There will be a case when for a particular angle of incidence, the angle of refraction goes like this. Sorry, the refracted ray goes like this. So basically the angle of refraction becomes 90 degree. This angle of incidence is called critical angle and it is denoted by C. Now what happens if a ray of light passes or strikes the medium at an angle greater than critical angle? Then what happens? It does not go in the second medium, it bounces back in the first medium as it happens in case of reflections. So basically this is called total internal reflection. So it does not happen always. There are two conditions for it. The first condition is the ray of light must go from denser medium to rarer medium, and the second condition is the angle of incidence must be greater than the critical angle. Okay, so these are the two conditions which are required for total internal reflection to happen. From rare medium to denser medium, the ray of light is going. It cannot go through the total internal reflection because in that case, the refracted angle is always less than the angle of incidence. But here it is quite possible because when we start increasing this, it starts lying down. So for a particular angle of incidence, the angle of refraction becomes 90 degree. Now let us try to find out the value of critical angle. Let us apply Snell's law in this case. So angle of incidence sin C upon sin 90 degree is equal to what? Refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium. Say this is your mu1 and this is your mu2. So I should write mu1 upon mu2. Sin 90 is 1. So basically sin C comes out to be what? Mu1 upon mu2. You have to remember this formula, or better to remember like sin C is equal to mu rare upon mu denser. Remember like this. Remember this formula. Mu1 upon mu2, it always been very confusing when the mediums are being changed. So remember like this, sin C is equal to mu rare upon mu denser. Okay. So this is total internal reflection, and now let us try to understand that how that total internal reflection questions related to total internal reflections are being asked. Then after we'll do some examples of TIR, the examples which exist, and then after we'll move to the next topic. Let us do examples first of all. The first example we assume we see in our day-to-day life is mirage. Now what is mirage? Mirage is an optical illusion which happens in the regions where the surfaces are very hot, the ground is very hot. Okay. Now what happens? Normally in deserts it happens. Now what happens? In desert, in the daytime, due to the high temperature, the desert is very hot. Okay. So the air which is nearby the surface of desert, it is hot. And the air which are quite above, they are cool. And when the gases are expanded, their volume expansion. When the gases are heated, their volume expanded. And because of volume expanded, density decreases. Expansion of volume causes the decrease in the density. So basically here that air are rare from each other. I am making air column so that understand. So here the airs are rare to each other, but as we move above, the air becomes colder, and if air becomes colder, it becomes denser. So as we move above, the air becomes denser. Is it clear? So it is something like this. I have made farther lines to understand it is rare, closer lines to understand it is denser. Now what happens? If some observer is here, so from here the ray of light travels from denser medium to rare medium, and if it strikes on the critical angle, it reaches to our eyes like this. Okay, by getting total internal reflection, it reaches to our eye like this, and our eyes see an inverted image of this tree as it is in water. So basically what happens, due to this difference in density, the ray gets total internal reflected, reaches to our eye, which make us visualize an image of the tree below it. So it looks like there is water spread on the surface and the image of the tree we are looking in the water. But as we move closer, the water disappears, as well as this image is also disappear. Okay, so this is how the mirage works, and it happens in very hot regions where the ground surface is very hot. Okay, now let us move to the second example. And what is that second example is brilliancy of diamond. Brilliance of diamonds. When we see a diamond, it shines exceptionally. Okay, if we see the same size of glass or small fine glass, so it does not shine that much, but diamond shines exceptionally. Why is it so? Because the refractive index of diamond is quite high. It is 2.42, and because of that the critical angle becomes very small. It is 24.4 degree approximate, so it is very small. And when we look at the shape of the diamonds are so cut that there are so many reflecting surfaces. Okay, so once a light enters in the diamond, it gets internally reflected so many times, which makes it very shines exceptionally brilliance. Okay, exceptionally it shines. Is it clear? So light gets internally reflected so many times, so in the matter the light is being captured inside the diamond, and because of that diamond shines exceptionally well. Okay, so this is another example. The third example is optical fiber. What is optical fiber? Optical fiber uses light signals to transmit from one place to another place. Now in optical fiber, there is fiber. On the fiber, we coat a material. This coating is called cladding. Okay, we coat a material like this, and above it we place another material of lower refractive index. Okay, this above this other material of lower refractive index. Now what happens? And this inside it is fiber. Okay, medium through which light can travel. So what happens if a ray of light goes inside the fiber? It gets internally reflected and it reaches to the other point. Now this point, this cladding has higher refractive index and this has lower refractive index. So because of this, what happens whenever a ray of light goes sidewise, so it goes from higher refractive index to the lower refractive index. It simply means higher optical density to the lower optical density, and because of that it gets reflected back and it reaches to the other end without losing its intensity. So basically what happens, this is what we call optical fiber, and it is used to transfer optical signals from one point to the another point. Another application of TIR is total reflecting prisms. Let me make the diagram. total reflecting prism. And the prisms are used in three ways. Let us do one by one. The first one is to deviate a ray by 90 degree. If we want to deviate a ray by 90 degree, we use total reflecting prism, and it is used in this way. Total reflecting prism is an isosceles right angle triangle prism. Okay. Now what happens? Ray of light, they fall on the first surface. Since they are perpendicular to this surface, they do not refract over here. They reach to this surface. If you draw normal, the angle of incidence is 45, which is greater than critical angle obviously. So ray of light gets reflected this way. So here the deviation produced in ray is 90 degree. Okay. So this is how this total reflecting prism is used. The second application is to deviate a ray by 180 degree. To deviate a ray by 180 degree. How this happens? Let us see. Now this isosceles prism are kept this way. This way. Now what happens? Ray of light falls on the first surface like this. Then after it goes like this. And then after it comes back like this. So basically the rays are going like this. Then after getting reflected, it comes back like this. So that the deviation produced here is 180 degree. These are the two examples. And the third one is to invert an image without deviation of ray. To invert an image. To invert an image without deviation. Okay, how this happens, let us see. So in this case, the prism is kept like this. Again, it is a 90 degree prism. Okay, isosceles. So now what happens? If a ray of light falls on this surface, it goes on this surface, then it reflects back like this, and then again it goes like this. So here what happens? The ray of light is being, just see if this is your, if some object is here, so this ray is going above now, and this ray is going below. So here the object will be like this. So here what we have done, we have just reversed the ray without producing a deviation. Okay, without producing a deviation. So this is how this total reflecting prism are being used. So these are the applications of TIR. Okay, so this refraction through a plane surfaces have one more application, that is a prism. But prism we are going to discuss after discussing lenses. Okay, after discussing lenses, we are going to discuss the prism. From tomorrow means from the next video lecture, we'll start refraction through spherical surfaces. Okay, till then you just keep yourself safe and keep on studying well. Okay, thank you.